Hello there, it's me, Kit Bowman, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. Let's join me for a story time with you guys to learn and listen. As we all know, we're all already excited for festive holiday season as we feel the Christmas spirit upon us. We enjoy and charitable holiday traditions between our friends and family from all over the world. You're definitely looking forward to Christmas in this December. Most of all, I have a astonishing illustrated festive themed storybook for Nutcracker from a story by E.T.A Hoffmann, illustrated by Valeria Decampo. Give me an interesting story. I'm going to read to you read by words and show you some illustrated pictures for each page. I'm glad you're here to feel cozy and warm on the wintry season. Ladies and gentlemen, would you care to join me for story time? That sounds great. Let's begin the story time. It was Christmas Eve and the snow was gently falling. Claire and her brother Frist were very excited. That night there would be a magnificent party with music and dancing, as well as lots of fantastic presents. Frist was busy with his toy soldiers, lining them up and giving them their orders. Claire put the finishing touches to their enormous tree. She hung shining bubbles and candy canes tied with bows and from the branches. This is my favourite part, Clara said to her brother as she lifted up the beautiful fairy with delicate wings and a sugarplum coloured dress. At last, it was time for the party to begin. The guests are arriving, cried Clara, peeping out of her bedroom window. Frist came running over to see who was crunching through the snow. Can you see, Godfather Drosselmeyer? Asked Clara. Said, yes. There he was waving, cried Frist. Come on, their godfather was a famous toy maker. He made the most magical toys in the whole city. Clara and Frist could hardly wait to see what had brought for them. Godfather Drosselmeyer hugged the children at the door, and with the flourish he produced two gifts. Frist eagerly unwrapped a mechanical gobstopping machine for Clara. There was a wooden nutcracker in the shape of a soldier. Take good care of him, said Godfather Drosselmeyer. He is very special. I love him. Clara whispered. Thank you. But he's a soldier, said Frist. He shall be mine. You can't have him, cried Clara. Frist tried to snatch the nutcracker away from her. He pulled and Claire tugged, and then crack! The nutcracker's leg snapped off. Clara cradled the nutcracker in her arms and wept. Don't cry, Clara, said her godfather gently. This soldier has been wounded, but I can soon fix him. Godfather Drosselmeyer pulled a little tool pouch from his pocket and quickly mended the nutcracker so that he looked as good as new. Oh, thank you, said Clara, drying her eyes. I'll never let anyone hurt him again. Everyone's dancing, and the house was filled with music and laughter. Clara placed the nutcracker carefully under the Christmas tree and went to join the party. Finally, the last dance was danced, and guests said their goodbyes. The family went to bed, and the house was dark and quiet. Bong! Clara awoke to hear the last bong of the clock striking midnight. Oh no, she thought. I left the Nutcracker all alone under the tree. Clara tiptoed downstairs and crept under the Christmas tree, holding the Nutcracker protectively. Suddenly, the tree started to grow taller and taller. Or was it just that Clara was shrinking? What's happening? She cried. Don't be afraid, said a kind voice suddenly. Clara turned around. Her Nutcracker had came to life. Behind him, the soldiers were sitting up in their toy box, and Clara's dolls were gazing around. Before Clara could speak, she heard a scurrying sound, and from every nook and cranny an army of mice poured into the room. They were led by a giant mouse king with a golden crown. Attack! He squealed. Who will fight with me? Cried the Nutcracker. The soldiers marched boldly out of their toy box. To battle, ordered the Nutcracker. The soldiers shouted and cheered, and the mice squealed and squeaked. Suddenly, Claire saw the Mousekin spring towards her beloved Nutcracker, burn his teeth. No, cried Clara. She snatched off her slipper and hurled it at the Mouse King. He fell to the ground with a cry, and his crown tumbled from his head. With their leader defeated, the mice scurried away in fear. The battle was won. The Nutcracker picked up Clara's slipper and placed it on her foot. She gasped. The Nutcracker had been transformed into a handsome prince. Oh, are you my life, Princess Clara? Well, he said, you broke the spell that was put on me a long ago by the wicked Mouse Queen. I'm glad that you're safe, said Clara, but you're mistaken. I'm not a princess. Are you sure? Asked the prince. Clara looked down and saw that what she was wearing, a glittering gown and satin shoes. Come, said the prince, I'm going to take you on a wonderful adventure. The walls of a sitting room seemed to fade away, and a beautiful sleigh drew up in front of them, led by two reindeer. Clara and the prince climbed the board, and they were swept high into the sky among the sparkling stars. Suddenly, Clara caught a sight of a magical land down below. Lollipop trees shimmered on Candy Floss hills. There were gingerbread houses and rivers of honey, and an orange scent breeze. Where are we? Gasped Clara. This is the kingdom of sweets, said the prince. The sleigh landed beside the rose-coloured lake and changed into the sea. Chariot pulled by dolphins swam beside them, and shivering fish leaped out of the water. On the far side of the lake was a magnificent marzipan palace. A fairy with delicate wings was waving to them from a gate. Look, said the prince, it's a Sugarplum Fairy. Prince Nutcracker, cried the fairy, you are home at last. This is Princess Clara, said the prince, as they stepped ashore. You saved my life and break the Mouse King Queen's spell. The Sugarplum Fairy hugged Clara. "Come and join for the celebrations," she said. Inside the palace, Clara and the prince feasted on the delicious cakes and sweets. They watched in wonder as dancers from every corner of the world whirled around the room. Then it was the Sugarplum Fairy's turn. Clara had never seen such dancing. She twirled and twirled until all Clara could see was a blur of her plum-coloured dress. Clara's eyelids began to droop. Her adventures had made her tired. The sound of the music became fainter and fainter. When Clara woke up on the Christmas morning, she found herself curled up under the Christmas tree. Next to the Nutcracker, toys were strewn across the floor, and her parents were standing over her. "What have you been doing?" asked her father. "Oh, I have had a most wonderful adventure," said Clara. She told her parents all about the Mouse King, the Nutcracker Prince, and the Kingdom of Sweets. "It was just a dream, darling," said her mother. Clara gasped up at the sugar-plum-coloured fairy on the top of the tree. Then she looked at the Nutcracker in her hands. "Perhaps it was," she said. Suddenly, Clara noticed something glinting on the carpet, and a smile spread across her face. It was a tiny golden crown. "Merry Christmas, Prince Nutcracker," she whispered. Boys and girls, to conclude this story of the Nutcracker, is such beautifully illustrated story has been focused on a young girl named Clara who received a special gift from her godfather, Drusel Mayer. He was a famous toy maker to receive the gifts for Clara and her brother Fritz. Did you know about a Nutcracker has been adapted into films and on stage? The Nutcracker, it seems perfect to enjoy reading, especially for every Christmas season of the year. Thank you so much for listening to the story. I hope you enjoy it as you feel the Christmas spirit. I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and thank you so much for stopping by.